Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable right here on Facebook at the Star Nations Organization's main fan page. This is a live stream show that I do Sunday through Thursday, and it's all based on the divination cards that I draw in the morning for the whole group, right? For the whole community. And we have a spiritual conversation around those cards that were drawn in the morning. And I have to tell you, that is really the highlight of my day, is to hang out with you guys and have a spiritual conversation. And so welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 4th. September 4th. Yeah. Every time I think that or say that, I think of May the 4th be with you, right? Too funny. So today is very different here in Wisconsin, northwestern Wisconsin. It's cloudy and colder. Our high today is 69 degrees. You heard me. It is jacket weather, right? Yeah. Yeah. And the maple trees are turning color. I don't know what it's like down by you guys, wherever you're at, but our maple trees are starting to change color. Yikes. Yikes. Yep, that is right. Fall is right on the edge, right on the edge. So today's information is going to be, I think, really, really good. Can't wait to get started. But before we do, because I know once we get started with the information, I'll forget. I'm going to take my phone. I'm going to send our live stream, our show, over to my news feed so that I can remind my friends that I'm live streaming. And I invite you to do the same thing, okay? Because whenever we find something, a post, a video, any kind of information that helps us along our spiritual journey here, because we're seeking information, right? And sometimes we're seeking validation. And so when we share something that we find that's helpful to us, you know that someone out there is also looking for the same information. And so you're just doing them a kindness by sharing it. So Siri, I don't know why she turns on automatically. Does anybody know that? I got an iPhone and I don't understand why Siri turns on by herself. All right, so I am going to love the live stream and I'm going to send it over to Paul sending me a message. And there we go. Over to my news feed. And I'm just going to let them know that I'm live streaming. And asking them to please come out and play. There we go. And there we go. And I think what I'll do is I'll send it over to our closed group too. Because sometimes the peeps need a little reminder too. Okay. And that's the Star Nations live stream show's closed group. So I'm going to send it over to them. And then asking them to join us. Oops. Got to spell correctly. That's always really helpful. There we go. There, and turn down my sound on my phone. Yay. Now, who's with us today? Who's in the chat? Hey, Rob. Kendall's here. Hello, Rob. Howdy to you, too. Howdy, howdy. And Rochelle's here, too. She goes, hello, Neshi, grounded and sprinkled, still in my jammies. Oh, good for you. Haven't done anything today. Nothing. Oh, my gosh. There was a time, believe it or not, Rochelle, there was a time when I used to do the same thing. When I would get done teaching, I'd finish up teaching a 2-week certification course for feng shui and space clearing, right? And 2 weeks. Yeah, sometimes the students, if we had the class at my house, they lived with me for 2 weeks, right? And so when everybody was gone and I had taken down the altar and put things away, the next day The next day was my jammy day. That's right. Didn't get out of my pajamas. I had cups of tea. I'd watch movies. I'd read books that had nothing to do with anything really. It was just for entertainment, and I'd take a nap. Mm-hmm. So I kind of miss those. Can't really do that with Mom here. And so Rob is saying, you said something close to, hey, Siri. No, I didn't. I don't think I did anyway. I might have said, hey. I'll have to remember that one, Rob. I don't think I did, though. Really? I'm not going to say it because it might reactivate her again. I don't want that. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to share with you today is something that I forgot to share last night on my show, Communications from Home. We talked about clairaudience, right? Being a clairaudient. And it was something that Rochelle said about her hearing aids. She was joking around about if didn't have her hearing aids in, her husband would have to, because he's crossed over in spirit, would have to speak louder, right? Well, I wanted to touch on that a bit, and so I thought I'd do it today. It won't take very long. I just wanted to make sure that I kind of connected the dots there, right? So here's this. My mom wears double hearing aids, and without them, she doesn't hear anything at all. Nothing. And so there's times, especially when she first moved in, she would say, oh, I heard this and I heard that, and I'm going, really? Okay, and I'd check things out, and of course, there wasn't anything. And so I would ask her, about what time did you hear this? And she'd tell me it was like in the wee hours of the morning, right? When she didn't have her hearing aids in. And I said, well, how do you suppose you heard that if it was in the physical world, because you didn't have your hearing aids in? So here's this logical mind, trying to figure it out. And well, it turns out is that not only is my mom clairvoyant, but she's also clairaudient. And so, and she sees spirit. She has always seen spirit, and she's never told anybody about it until she started living with me. And we used to talk about this all the time. And so without hearing aids, when she hears something now, she knows the difference between hearing spirit and hearing something in the physical world. And for her, she hears like knocking on the door, right? And what we figured out over time is that spirit is coming to her to let her know that somebody's going to be crossing over. And so in some cultures, they would call that a banshee, right? And so we've kind of figured out the pattern. If they're knocking at the front door and she hears it in those wee hours, then it's somebody who is an acquaintance, that she might have known at some part of her life. They weren't really, really close, but they knew each other. And then if they're knocking on her bedroom door, that is somebody that is much closer and maybe a cousin or somebody that she spent time with that knew a heck of a lot better, right? But if the phone rings in her room at that time of the morning, then she knows that it's somebody very, very close to her that has crossed over. And so, she doesn't know who, but she does wait. She says, well, I guess we're going to have to wait to find out who that is, right? And so here she is, right? She just turned 100, but we started this when she first moved in, and that was almost 8 years ago. And so she's never really talked to anybody about it, right? When I was growing up, we only talked about our dreams. She never talked about the images that she saw or anything that she heard. Yeah. And so it's it's nice to be able to be that sounding board for her when she has those spiritual visitors. Yeah. Rob, cricket. Okay. I'm not going to say that one either because I don't want to turn that on. Okay, so I wanted to kind of finish that up a little bit. So Rochelle, you might want to kind of pay attention to that if you don't have your hearing aids in and what you are hearing, right, to help for yourself to discern between what you're hearing from the physical world and what you're hearing from spirit, from your spiritual team. Yeah. So I wanted to connect those two dots because I talked about it a little bit last night and said, oh, we'll get to that later. And I never got to it later. So good. All right. Let's get moving with the cards. This one is one of my favorite ones. Oops. I want to turn off the crawler thing because it kind of gets in our way, doesn't it? Turn that off. Put my name up. There we go. All right. This is the first card, Water Guardian. Connect with your emotions. Connect with your emotions. Yeah. My favorite color, one of my favorite colors is blue. I think that's why I like this card so much. All the different shades of blue. She's even got blue in her hair. Right? And the, I don't know if you want to call it a diadem or what that is, but on her forehead, right? Third eye stuff. I think those are supposed to be bubbles or orbs, we can call that. But she's got some, along the middle of her forehead, through her third eye. She's got some on her shoulder, right? Down at her heart. Yeah. I don't know. Take a look in the upper corner. She's underwater, and so that's, some sort of, it almost looks like clouds to me, but, it's probably waves of some sort. But I was thinking, there's some images up there too. Right? So we're Water Guardian. Connect with your emotions. Connect with your emotions. Because yesterday's cards, we were told they talked about our emotions as well, right, through the moon. And so when we're when emotions are coming up, whether it's because of something that just happened, right, or if they're coming up from a memory, right? Sometimes what we've done is we've buried, ignored certain emotions that are attached to past events, things that we've never really taken care of, right? And I'm talking about this current life, not a past life, but this current life. And so our emotions, when they're buried like that, we think that they're hidden. They're hidden from our conscious mind, maybe, but they're not hidden. They're not hidden by our subconscious mind or by our soul. Our soul knows that they're there, right? And when they come to the surface, this is one of the things that I noticed. I noticed that when they float to the surface or they come out of the depths, right? Many times that's because we're ready. We have everything that we need to face those emotions and the trauma that's connected to them, to heal it and to release it. But we also have choice. We can choose to move forward with it and to do the healing around it and to gain the wisdom from it, right? But we also have the choice to push them back down. And sometimes we try to even push them even further, right, than what they were before. because, maybe I'll take them a little longer to come to the surface. And so, as we turn to our emotions, especially when they happen in the present time, right? Present time is not to push them away, not to ignore them, but to actually feel them and to be able to release them in a healthy way, right? And it's all your emotions. It's not just the ones that we deem negative, right? Or weak. That's another one. So that, your vulnerability starts to show, right? Those are the ones that we probably spend the most energy on pushing away, denying that they're there, right? Yeah. But we have to experience all of our emotions, not just the ones that are acceptable in your peer group, right? Yeah. Something my mom told me a long, long time ago. I mean, it was just a little girl, right? She was telling me, she said, never let them see you cry. Manage your emotions. Never let them see you cry. And also never show an extreme emotion in either direction. Don't show anybody that you're really, really happy, and don't show anybody that you're really, really angry or you're really, really scared, right? And when I asked why, and she said, it's because then they'll have enough information about you that they could hurt you. So here, this is what I grew up with, and it took me a long time to let go of that, right? To identify it and to let it go. And I had a whole bunch of stuff to heal around it too. But it's those kinds of things, right? So spirit is encouraging us through the water guardian to connect with your emotions, to really feel them. Because really our emotions are all about our creation process as well, right? Manifesting. If we're not feeling our emotions, we're not putting enough energy to catapult our manifestations, what we want to manifest, to create into the physical world. So we really do have to pay attention to them, right? As much as we balancing our mental mind, right, with our heart, it also goes in the opposite direction, right? Is balancing our emotions with our mental mind. Yeah. So we got two things going on with that too, with the emotions. Is the one that we're ignoring them and suppressing them or repressing them, right? And then there's also the part where we are, how do I want to say this? Expressing our emotions without any filter, without any temperance, right? Enough, because the thing is that when you're really angry, and you're voicing that anger, right? What are you doing to the other person? That's why I meant, in a healthy way, is to express it in a healthy way, especially the anger. And also, when we're expressing sadness or any kind of hurt, right? Because sometimes those can be used in manipulation when you're trying to control the other person, trying to create that guilt, right? And so you're utilizing your emotions in that way. So it's really being honest with ourselves and to actually feel those emotions. Yeah. Why does it have to be so complicated, right? Oh my gosh. Hey, Angela's here. Hello, Angela. It's good to have you here. Oh my gosh, Julie's here too. I know, right? I love those color blues. Rob is saying the sun reflecting off the surface, you can see it if you're diving. Oh, that's what that is. Good one, Rob. But if you take a closer look at it, I was looking at it earlier this morning and I was thinking, there's images in those, what looks like clouds, right? Because there's one that kind of looks like a horse to me. It's right in the middle. Let's see if I can point it out. It's like right there. It kind of looks like a horse to me. Yeah. But those blues, I tell you what, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And Julia is saying, thank you for the topic of dealing with trauma. Yeah. Because we all have it in some degree, right? And I think that most of us have also suppressed it or repressed it at some point. And so as it comes to the surface, right, we can be there to support each other because we know what it's like. Hey, Jen's here too. Good morning, Jen. All at the round table. That's right. And Rob's saying they're not there. Even the ones that aren't. It's like, shush. Rochelle, I have been remembering positive memories of childhood. That is good because the negative ones used to encompass me. Oh, that's good. So you've had a shift. That's really, really good, Rochelle. Yeah. I know that I mentioned my mom a lot, right? And by the way, she is doing pretty good. She's hanging in there. She's slowing down a bit, and I think that her life force energy is not what it used to be, that's for sure. But one of the things that early on when she moved in with us, all of the memories that she would be sharing with me about her childhood were all bad. And I know that she probably hadn't been talking to them about them much, right, to other people. And so, we talked about it for some length, like a few months. And I don't know, somewhere along the line, after about 6 months or so, I finally asked her if there was any happy memories, because I've only heard the bad ones. Did you not have any happy memories in your childhood at all? And then she started saying, oh yeah, I did, and there's things that she has never shared with me, like how my grandparents used to like to dance, ballroom dance. I didn't even know they knew how to ballroom dance. They would waltz in the kitchen, right? And she says that was a really fun time because one of her uncles would play the fiddle, right? And they would dance in the kitchen. And so that's kind of where I got that phrase, happy dancing in the kitchen, right? And so, yeah, so those happy memories. And Rochelle, it'd be nice if you shared them with your sons, right? Those happy memories. Yeah. Julie says, loved and spread the love today. Thank you, Julie. I love that too. Thank you. Rob says temperance has another meaning, but it's also apropos. I know. After I said it, Rob, it's like, oh, okay. And that was a word that was given to me by my team. I was searching for a different word, and they kept repeating it. Use temperance. It's about temperance. It's like, okay. All righty. So let's find out what Kyle Gray, the author, has to say about the Water Guardian. The message is, take time to understand how you really feel. Know that your sensitivity is not a curse, but a gift that allows you to receive and understand messages directly from your soul. Okay? So with that, every time we suppress an emotion, when we push it away, When we deny it's there, yeah, we're cutting the communication stream off from our spiritual team. It's like hanging up the phone or turning down the volume. I'm laughing because my father-in-law used to turn down his hearing aids so he wouldn't have to listen to certain people. And so it's kind of the same thing, it's like, so when we do that, we truncate, we cut our side of the conversation. Yeah. So that means our team has to rework it and try to get the message to us a different way. And sometimes that different way is that 2x4. We don't want the 2x4. Those aren't fun. Those aren't fun at all. So the water is the element that is in your blood, your tears, and in your flesh. The water guardian represents the angels of water who can help you to dive within to understand the depths of your emotions. These angels are all about helping you see that your emotions aren't just the feelings that are on the surface. They are also the old emotions you may have locked deep within the shadows of your soul. Through helping you to acknowledge your deepest emotions, the angels of water help you to hear the messages these have for you and to unlock your intuitive powers and the energies of abundance. Right? So we're being encouraged to dive, to go deep, and not to be satisfied with just the surface information. I mean, that's good information. Don't get me wrong; it's good information. But when we're working with our emotions, there's always more underneath, right? There's always more underneath. And so going deep. Your angels want you to know that it's okay to feel the emotions that are surfacing at this time. And it doesn't matter if they're joyous or sad. They are all powerful messengers that allow you to understand what you need and what you want. Taking time to breathe and acknowledge them lets them flow through you rather than crashing down upon you as an overwhelming wave. Note that there's also intuitive psychic messages rising within you at this time, and unless you acknowledge everything as it comes up, you may miss an important guidance that can lead you to support and love. So in other words, pay attention. Pay attention to those intuitive messages. Right. And water, right? Water obviously is a symbol of emotion. It also represents the medicine of the West. And so in the medicine of the West, it's that energy that is kind of in between, right? The sun is setting. And so it's we get to see the stars come out when the sun is still kind of visible at the horizon, right? And so we're in the betwixt and between when we're in the West. And if we consider that when we're taking in the information about the emotions, is to be aware of the betwixt and the between, right? So, for instance, a very powerful emotion, which is anger, right? And underneath that is usually fear. And so where is the in-between with that for you, right? Where's the in-between? Because that's where the magic is. That could be where your answer lies, is in the betwixt and the between. Yeah. All right. Hey, Marie's here too. Hello, Maurice. Good to have you here. It's always good to see you in the chat. Rochelle says, I have and will continue to tell my sons. That's so good. Thank you for sharing that, Rochelle. I think that it's just not kind, but I think that it really helps support your soul growth, right? Yeah, that's good stuff. Do you blame him? No, not really. No, not really. Okay, so that's the water guardian. And who showed up next? Spring. See your seeds grow. See your seeds grow. Right? So, the energy of spring, right, is all about, that new growth, right? New beginnings, new beginnings. And what's interesting to me is that we had the water guardian, which, for me, the energy of water lies in the west. And here spring, the card spring shows up, and the energy of spring is in the east. And so you have the balance of male and female energies. And you have what is on the medicine wheel is known as the blue road or the black road. And that's where all of our life experiences are at, that we walk from the east to the west, right? And that we're mastering our mental mind and our emotions so that they're balanced. And here they show up in the cards with the medicine of the west and spring, the medicine of the east. I thought that was very interesting. The message is, embrace the change that is on the horizon. Allow your dreams to become reality. So yesterday, we had the sun, the moon, and the high priestess, right? And the sun card was talking all about the success, the illumination, right? That if you're working on a project, a new beginning, a new project, something that was new, whether it was a project, a job, a new move, a new relationship, that it was going to be successful, right? Yeah. So today's card with spring, it says, allow your dreams to become reality. It says the spring card features a wild hare, 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 because in Celtic animal medicine, the hare brings intuition and rebirth. Hares are highly fertile beings, and so their medicine can bring dreams to life. They bring intuition and rebirth. Right? That rebirth part, I had to sit with it for a little bit, because what it felt like to me, because that word jumped out at me when I read the information, and that word rebirth, and I was thinking, so many times in our lifetime, we reinvent ourselves, right? Our life changes. Of course it does. We have soul growth. Our life changes, and sometimes we have to let go of the old template, our old life, and begin again, right? And so when we're creating that, we're literally reinventing ourselves, right? And I know that term comes from the business world, but there's some truth to it. So when we begin that reinventing ourselves, being brand new again, right? It is an emotional time. It's an emotional time, because there's a part of us that is grieving the old that we're letting go. And sometimes with that, we try to bring the old into the new, and it doesn't always work. And so, we have decisions to make on how we want to reinvent ourselves, how to begin again. right? And we do that for lots of reasons, maybe you decided that you wanted to change into careers, or perhaps you were downsized out of a corporation and you're kind of forced to reinvent yourself, right? Or perhaps, maybe you had a life event. Maybe you had an illness, right? And it's taken you a while to get back on your feet. You're not the same person you were when the illness began. And so you're recreating or creating a new life, right? So reinventing yourself. Lots of times when we change careers, that's exactly what we're doing, is reinventing ourselves. Rebirth. Jen says that spring is here for the Southern Hemisphere. That's right. That's right. Because let's see, our fall equinox is what, in September, and so that's your spring equinox, right? Yeah, I forgot about that. Very interesting that this card would show up today. And Rochelle says, what type of flowers are those? I think they were thistle. Yeah. Yep. Gotta get the card back out. Yep, those are thistle. And thistle has a purple flower, and they're all over Scotland. Thistle. I think isn't thistle their national flower? I think. Yeah. Interesting. And let's see. Jen is also saying, what is the difference between a hare and a rabbit? That's a good question, because I asked that question to Mervyn Kelly the very first time we ever had this card. In the UK, in England specifically, they don't have rabbits. They only have hares. And the hare is in the same family, but they're bigger. Their size is bigger, and their ears are longer. They're bigger. They're kind of like, in the U.S., they would be equivalent to like the snowshoe rabbit, because they're bigger and they have bigger feet and bigger ears. But the rabbit itself is so much smaller in size. Yeah. I asked the same question, Jen. And the thing is that their energy is quite similar, their medicine. The rabbit is all about abundance and creativity, right? And they're very prolific in breeding, and they have babies all the time, right? But they're a prey animal. And so in the food chain, both rabbits and hares are in the food chain, but they're near the bottom of the food chain, so that they provide food for a whole lot of relatives. The fox, wolves, two-leggeds, humans, they're a prey animal. And so that's why they're so prolific. It says that you are ready to bring to life all of your ideas, inspirations, and projects. When this card appears, you are moving into a space that allows you to really grow, expand, and create in a way you've never done before. There are opportunities for abundance, including financial growth. And if you're starting something new, prepare for a major expansion in your life and soul. Yeah, here we go. So when we are sitting in the energy of the springtime, when you're beginning a new project, that is the energy of the East, right? New, brand new beginnings. That we can call on the hare to come and help us with it. That archetype, that power animal. And if you have a power animal that's a rabbit or a hare, depending on where you're living, you have to kind of take into consideration the energy that they bring to you. And are they there as a totem or as a power animal, right? As a power animal, they're there for you maybe when you're starting this new project. And they'll be with you until the project ends or until the project is nearing completion, right? Mm-hmm. I have a friend, one of my sisters. The rabbit is her birth totem, and she just figured that out just recently. The importance of whenever she sees rabbits and connecting the dots and realizing that, oh my goodness, I always see them when I'm starting something new, or when I don't even know that it's even here yet. And I start to see them, and eventually, close to my seeing them, that the new project arrives, right? It's the beginning. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Rob. That's a good one. Rabbits, hares, animals. Good. Thank you. A little bit more information. And Rochelle says, it seems to me that hare are more sleeker than a rabbit. Rabbits are a little fatter, in my opinion. Well, yeah, I think it's because they're taller. I think hares are larger in size, and their weight is distributed a bit differently. So when we're looking at hare and how it's supporting that first card of the water guardian and the emotions, right? And in that, they were also talking about how our emotions are a part of our manifesting powers, right? Our creation energy. That when we work on our emotions and we heal those emotional traumas, and so that we're utilizing our emotions in a balanced way, we're manifesting so much easier, right? And look, we get the hare coming up right behind that card, and they're talking about starting new things. So see your seeds grow. See your seeds grow. So in a way, I don't know if this is the right word, but managing our emotions, right? Yeah, keeping track of them. When those old emotions that we have buried, repressed, when they come to the surface, is to take that deep breath, call to your team, asking them to help you experience those emotions in a healthy way and in a safe way, right? Because sometimes, those emotions, as Julie had, thanked me to bring up the trauma piece with that, it can be challenging to do it all by yourself. That many times we have to reach out for help, whether it's with some good friends, or maybe you want to take the more professional route and go and get an appointment with a therapist, right, to work through it. Your healing team, pull your healing team together, both in the physical world and the spirit world, right? And to face those emotions, those traumas, so that you can heal them. And because once we do that, man, a lot of your energy that has been siphoned away, even though you might not have acknowledged those emotions that you have buried, much of our energy goes to them, those hidden emotions, without us even really realizing it, right? And so sometimes our fatigue is related to that, because it's kind of like having, Rob, right, a program that you don't know that's running in the background of your computer. What happens to your battery? What happens to your bandwidth, right? That energy space is being taken up by something that you could take care of, that you could remove, right? That you could clear. Interesting. All right, here's the third card. One of my favorites. I love this card, Anima Guardian. Trust your instincts. Look at this card. I tell you what, it took me a long time. The very first time I drew this card, I must have sat with it for a good 20, 30 minutes. Just looking at it and all the animals that are around her, all her spiritual guidance, power animals, totems. You can feel how much they love her, right? And how much she loves them. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm trying to get the camera to focus so you can really see. Here we go. And as earrings, it looks like earrings, right? Are butterfly wings. Look how long they are. You know, from the information I shared last night about clairaudience, right? Oh my goodness. And that black panther, that black cat. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. One of my favorite cards in this deck. Trust your instincts. You know, because we are two-leggeds, us humans, we are a part of the animal world. We think of ourselves separate. Some of us do anyway. Put ourselves separate from our animal relatives. And we're not separate from them, right? That, you know, there's a biblical saying, I believe it is, about having dominion over the earth, right? For me, it's more of a co-creation, and always has been, that we're no better, no worse. we're no greater and no less than one of our animal relatives or one of our plant relatives or one of our stone relatives, right? That we're all in this together. Let's see, Jen. Jen is saying, Rabbit Proof Fence, a really good Australian movie relating to Indigenous Australian stolen generation. You know, I've heard of the movie, but I've never seen it. And yeah, I would like to, I think. You know, because it goes along the same lines as when Native children here in the United States were taken and put into mission schools, right? Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. I would like to see that movie. Yeah, and Julie's saying the same thing. Yes, have watched it. What has been taken from the indigenous people and land across the world. Oh my goodness. Get the Kleenex box out. Yeah. Rob Kendall says, Facebook drains battery power well enough. This is true. Rob says, I had an interesting experience with a new animal meditating at lunch. Not sure if it's a power animal or a totem, but it was interesting. Oh, okay. Care to share what kind of animal that was? Yeah. All right, here. I'm going to show this card again. And let's see what Kyle has to say about this card. Trust your instincts, the Anima Guardian. It says, trust the powerful animal spirit within to learn more about yourself and your talents. The Animal Guardian is a card that represents the angels of the animal kingdom. Animals are angels of nature who have incredible lessons to offer and medicine that can support you on your spiritual journey and help you survive some of your greatest challenges. When you connect with the energies of animals, you can learn a lot about yourself and the earth. You also have instinctive animal energy within that can direct you towards everything you need and more. The Animal Guardian card depicts a tribal angel being held and supported by her animals. She has a love for them and they have a love for her, demonstrating how incredibly connected nature is with the spiritual realms. When this card arises, it's important to connect with how you really feel, how you want to feel, and what you really need. Take the time to connect with your animal energy and express it naturally. Let even the fiercest energy move through you before returning to your natural state. It will teach you a lot about your gifts and how you can grow. So here's another card with a message from Spirit asking us to really notice what we're feeling, our true feelings. And that we have all kinds of assistance from our animal relatives, both in the seen and the unseen realms. Yeah. So do you think maybe there's a theme here about emotions? I think there is. I think they're making it quite clear and very apparent that they would like us, Spirit would like us to take a look at the expression of our emotions, right? To feel our emotions. And when we have emotions that we have blocked, right, for whatever reason, when they begin to float to the surface, is to remember that you have everything at your fingertips that you need to heal that trauma, that emotion, and to gain the wisdom from it. That we have all the tools, otherwise it wouldn't come to the surface. If you're not ready, it wouldn't come to the surface. But we all have a choice, right? We have a choice on whether or not we're going to take that leap. All right, so now here's another card that fell out of the deck. As I was picking up the cards to put them away, Druid, hold the space. Hold the space. Right? Don't you just love his staff with the crystal on top? It's got two feathers hanging from it and a fur of some sort. Gandalf-esque. See all the little sparkly lights around the crystal? Hold the space. Means hold things together. Don't make any sudden moves or changes. Stand strong, knowing you are where you're supposed to be. So in other words, we're being encouraged, right, by Spirit to really take a look at those emotions, right? Our expression of them, because it's healthy, and also any past emotional traumas that are coming to the surface, right? Because when we do that healing, we free up energy that we've been spending on those old emotional traumas. We free that up, and we also are able to utilize our emotions in a balanced and healthy way to increase our manifestation. We can't manifest without our emotions. Yeah. And I'm sure that some of you have actually felt that, you have gone through that. And you're trying to figure out why, I've done everything to manifest, everything that the law of attraction tells me that is to do to manifest, and it's not happening. Okay. We have to take a look at the emotions then, and how you're expressing them, how you're feeling them, if you are, or if you're repressing them. And then taking a look at any past emotional traumas that either you haven't addressed, or maybe you need to go back and do another round of healing, right? Because without our emotions, our manifesting energy and powers are diminished. So, I think it's pretty clear that Spirit wants us to really take a look at that emotional aspect. That's the information coming through today. Let's see, Robson, the idea of dominion over nature is a product of revealed religions. Indigenous traditions see humanity as a part of nature. Yes. And I think that's a good generalization, I think, Rob, right? Because within both, the religion and indigenous traditions, it's on a continuum too, because not all indigenous people feel this way. Not all of them do. Right. Rob's saying, I was walking to my spot at the park and many butterflies flew out in front of me. When they stopped fluttering about long enough that I could count, there was 7, but I estimated 7 to 9. A couple may have flown away. Oh, okay. So, 7 is a number of spirit, right? Movement of spirit. And 9 is completion. So that's very interesting. Very interesting. I'm so glad you were able to spend some time with them too. Kendall, what are druids? What are modern day druids? You're hilarious, Rob. Considering you just started studies with a druid group, and it's like, what are druids? I don't know. Good question. Jen says, I love the wildlife that chooses to reside with us in harmony. Owls, magpies, kingfishers, kangaroos, wallabies. I'm going to mispronounce this. I know you taught me how to say this before, Jen, but I don't remember. Echinida, kookaruba, and python. Kookaruba. There's a song about kookabear, right? Kookabear sits in the old gum tree. Yeah. I love the bush. They are making it quite clear and apparent that I am struggling to leave this place. And the druid, he is holding a staff. Hold the space, he says. I kept the wings of the resident owl that was hit by a car. I plan to create this a staff with one wing and a smudge fan with the other. Quite a few messages today. That is so good, Jen. Very, very good. Wow. So, Druid came along, right? Druid came along for the ride today with the cards. That they have a deep connection with the earth, the sun, and the moon. And yesterday, what did we get? The sun and the moon, right? And the high priestess. So in a way, here comes the druid in the sacred feminine or sacred masculine form. says when the Druid card appears in a reading, you're being guided to dig deep within and hold your station. What do you think of that? All right, so I'm going to hold the cards up. I know we're at the top of the hour. You know that we've learned that calling our team close to us so that we can get the information in an optimal way for us individually, asking them for their assistance. Okay, and take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, I hope I can get this all in one shot. There we go. All right. Starting with the Water Guardian, the woman in blue, telling us to dive deep into our emotions, allowing our emotions to be felt, to be used, right? When we start the creation process. And here comes in to say, sow your seeds and watch them grow, because we're able to utilize our emotions in a balanced way as fuel for our manifesting. An animal guardian, trust your intuition or your instincts, right? She was also asking us to take a look at our emotions as well, not to hide from them, because we have all kinds of help from our animal relatives. And then we have the ancient druid here telling us to hold the space, that we're in the right place to get this work done. Right? Yeah, it's all about emotions today. That's a fact. Can't hide from that. Can't hide from it. Kookaburras were cricket balls? I don't think so. Oh, here you go. Thank you, Jen. Echidnahihi. Echidnahihi. Oh, good. Okay. I'm going to try to remember that, Jen. Thank you. Here comes in to save the day. Yeah. All right. So anything that resonated with you today in the cards, in the conversation, my suggestion is to embrace it and to see, sense, feel, right, how today's energy is unfolding around you and where this information can be helpful. If it didn't resonate, don't worry about it. There's always tomorrow's cards. All right. So Wednesday, I hope you guys can join us this evening for Polly Jo LeBay's Wednesday evening show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is Soul Connections. It's an evening of divine healing and divine messages. And so if you're working on any of those emotional aspects, tonight would be a good night to join us for the healing meditation that Polly Jo guides. Yeah. And I would like to encourage you, or to suggest to you, is to check out our Star Nations magazine. Check out the August issue. Mervyn Kelly wrote a featured article for us in the August issue, all about the healing aspects of crystals and certain crystals that he uses that were identified to him to use as healing stones and crystals. And you can check us out at our main website, which is starnations.org, and go to the magazine tab and you'll see all the information there. Okay. It comes in digital, print on demand, and PDF and web viewer. All right. Personally, my favorite is the web viewer because it just downloads so much easier with MagCloud, their free app, and it looks really good too. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate it and appreciate all the really good conversation we had about spirit. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too, and I hope that it was helpful to you as well. So please join me for tomorrow afternoon for Spiritual Roundtable at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central. And until then, Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.